Hey everybody, this is Jason with Everything ATV YouTube Reviews. Today I'm going to show you how to chop or modify, lower a cage on a Razor 800. This should also work on your 900. Before you get started, make sure you have these tools on hand. You're going to need an 8mm Allen wrench, a grinder with a good metal wheel on it, a saw with a good metal cutting blade, some tape to mark your cuts with, tape measure, a larger ratchet strap, which is going to help you pull the cage apart, and two smaller ones that's going to help you pull it down. Also a MIG welder, preferably with gas shielding versus the flux core wire. It's going to make less of a mess when you go to weld your cage back together. As far as the materials you're going to need to pick up, these inserts that go down inside your cage so you can weld, 1.5 inch inserts. Also this bar up here, some folks are able to save this, we weren't, so we had to pick up 41 inches of this 1 3/4 inch tubing to put back in. We did save our brackets. If you're trying to decide how much of the cage to take out, we took out 5.5 inches of the factory cage. I'm 6'2". I'm still able to sit in here and ride comfortably with a helmet on. I've still got a couple inches clearance on that, so that'll give you a little guide as far as how much you want to pull out. The cage still does have a little bit of a roll back to it. It's not completely flat. And the good thing about this mod is your factory roof will still fit on here because you're not modifying anything up here. It's all in here. Okay, to start with, you want to take your seats out. After that, you've got 8 of these 8mm Allen bolts that pull the cage together. You're going to want to loosen those. And to measure where our cuts go, we measured up 5.5 inches from this support here and marked it with tape. We went up another 5.5 inches and marked it there. That's how we determined what piece of tubing we was going to take out. Okay, next we took our saw, made our 2 cuts on both sides. This middle tube is either going to have to be cut in the middle or ground off here. It's got to be removed before you can spread the cage and pull it down. Okay, next we took our grinder and ground around here, releasing these brackets. And once this brace was off, then we come back and ground this tube out. Now at the section of tubing out that you removed, you're going to have a gap here. You can slide your inserts down in here and tack them on. Now the part that's pretty challenging on this is actually getting the cage spread apart so you can put it down your inserts. To do that, we took some ratchet straps, chained off on each side, and ratcheted it apart. After we got it apart to where it looked like it was going to slide down the inserts, then we took some smaller ratchet straps from here to here and pulled it back down to where the inserts had come together, and then welded it back up. So this has been an overview on how to chop the cage on a Razor 800. I wish I'd have took video as we done it. You know, when I pushed into this project, the first time we've done it, I read a lot online. But you really just have to get in here and start cutting and welding and pulling to see how things work. Don't be surprised that this cage wants to stay up once this is cut. That's why you need the ratchet straps to pull it back down. And you know, once you get these bolts loosened, there's actually quite a bit of play and slack in here once they're loosened to allow you to pull it down without, you know, harming any of the integrity of the rest of the chassis. So just something, don't be afraid to get into it. Some things that's going to make it quicker for you is, you know, if you have a couple buddies around, extra hands, and if you don't necessarily have to ratchet strap the cage and pull it apart. If you had a porta power or something go in here to spread it, that would make the job easier. It's pretty basic. You're going to have probably less than $40 tied up in it in a couple hours, and it just makes the roof line look tremendously better. So yeah, 2 thumbs up from us. Don't be afraid to get into it yourself.